Morning. We're going to talk about the documentary Who Killed Malcolm X. Now, I'm just going to give y'all some of the movie or the documentary, but not all. Not all. And the whole thing to me is just wow. But anyway, so this guy who is a Muslim, he was so interested in the Malcolm X case and basically who killed him. He was so interested in that he started investigating. He started going to the FBI archives and he started going to the Library of Congress and things like that to investigate and look at the records of the FBI on the murder of Malcolm X. And this movie is not for those who don't like to research, because anything with Malcolm X is dealing with research, reading, things like that. And it was very interesting. I can say this documentary was very interesting to me. And I probably will watch it like 3 or 4 times because I'm a researcher. I love research. So he went around investigating. So the first episode is talking about when Malcolm X got actually killed, which was February the 26th, 1967 or 65, I can't remember. And he was killed at the Audubon Room in New York. And there were a lot of witnesses. One man was caught, and his name was Thomas Hare. And he had a gun, and he was the admitted assassin in the FBI papers. The other guy got away, and the other 2 accomplices were not revealed until Thomas Hare did a affidavit in jail. So the second series is about the gunman. And the gunman was William Bradley, who was Muslim name is Al-Mustafa Shabazz. He was the gunman. And actually this man was from New Jersey. The assassins were from the New Jersey mosque. And just basically these people were living in New Jersey. People knew about them, knew about the people that killed Malcolm X, but didn't say anything. And this made the black community look irresponsible. That's my word, because they did not pursue or press the government to detain and arrest William Bradley, aka Al-Mustafa Shabazz. So he lived in the community. He was mentoring children. He changed his life, basically. He was not the person that he was when he shot Malcolm X, because this is the gunman, and the gunman's bullet is what killed Malcolm X. So I want to be correct about that. And this man just, and then he died. Once the guy caught up with William Bradley, aka Al-Mustafa Shabazz, when he caught up with him, he was going to interview him, but he ended up passing away. Also, the police and the FBI knew who did what, but the FBI would not share information with the police in New York. So there was miscommunication. There was, when the government prosecuted the assassins that killed Malcolm X, they didn't care who they prosecuted because two of the men were innocent. And this movie just pointed out at the time Malcolm X was really in trouble. Like, he had no one in his corner when it came to helping him protect his family and protect his life. You know, he was doomed. You know, once he left the Nation of Islam, he was basically doomed, because when he set up his organization was filled with FBI agents and police agents who were working up under Malcolm X, and they were not in the Nation of Islam. This was Malcolm X's separate organization that he started when he left Elijah Muhammad. And Malcolm X's daughter was on the documentary, and she said that people will say that the Nation of Islam just offed Malcolm X, you know, and that's what everybody thinks. And she was like, that's not true. She was like, if you look closer, you will see the truth. And she was saying that everybody just thinks that, oh, the Nation of Islam just killing off people and they killing off each other and that's it. And they killed Malcolm X and that's it. And she was like, you got to look deeper, because that's not the truth. So I finally got that message that the Nation of Islam really didn't have anything to do with Malcolm X's death. It was people that were inside Malcolm X's new organization, new mosques, and it was a mosque that he had in Newark, New Jersey. And he did not have the security that he had in the NOI. He didn't have, and then the security guy of Malcolm X's team was an eyewitness, but he was an informant for the FBI. So this is why Malcolm X's murder went unsolved, and William Bradley, who is Al Mustafa Shabazz, got to live in Newark, New Jersey, untouched. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that, because I summed it up. That's basically, and I could be on here 30 minutes talking about some of the jewels that I saw in this documentary, and I want to watch it again because I probably missed some stuff. 2 men were wrongly convicted and spent 20 years of their life in jail, and that was wrong. The government didn't care who they prosecuted. They just prosecuted anybody, and they let the real gunmen go free. And that was just like, wow. So he got to walk around the community after he killed Malcolm X. But when you look at religion and you look at it from an Islamic perspective, he was forgiven by the Muslims who knew that he killed Malcolm X or heard the rumor, and they forgave him because in Islam, when you repent and you stop doing the things that you did, even if you killed somebody and you repent and you ask God for forgiveness, and you change your life, then you will be protected by God. God will give you bounty, will protect you and things of that nature. And it would seem like William Bradley, al-Mustafa Shabazz, the killer of Malcolm X, the alleged assassin, he basically changed and transformed his life, and he transformed other people's lives in the community. And when you look at it from that perspective, you're like, wow, so if a person changes their life after doing something bad, it is for God to deal with. And one part of me is like, wow, the Black community kind of let this man live amongst them and didn't seek for him to be punished by the FBI or the government. And from the Islamic perspective, he changed his life. So should he been punished? Or was he already being punished personally by God? So it's a religious perspective, and then there's the other perspective like, wow, y'all let a killer just walk amongst y'all and get away with the murder of a national leader. So, take a look at the documentary on Netflix, Who Killed Malcolm X. It is very profound, and if you're going to watch it, have your investigation cap on, because it's a lot of paperwork that's being talked about. It's a lot of ballistics. It's really investigative, and I like that. And I'm going to watch it a couple of times just to get in my mind that we know who killed Malcolm X because of that documentary. And it was not the Nation of Islam. It was not the Nation of Islam. And I wish people would stop going around saying that, because it was not. Malcolm X was put out of the Nation of Islam or kicked out. And it was a struggle between him and Elijah Muhammad. And so he opened his own organization, and he was trying to set it up, but he was already doomed because so many people around him were not fans of him, and they kind of were careless. The police were careless when it came to him, and the man basically, when his house burned down, the man was homeless, and the police really did not want to help him. And I could understand back then, because the police were racist at the time. They were not interested in helping out in the Black community or helping anybody in the Black community who they called for an emergency. And, when they interviewed his wife, she talked about how the police failed to help her when they got death threats and stuff like that. So it was really hurtful to see that back in that time, what Black people had to go through when it was dealing with this system. This system has changed a whole lot, and we don't have to deal with what they dealt with in the 40s and the 50s. But it just shows how we should be glad that we didn't live in that time, because we would have went through just like our people did. And I respect that. I respect that my elders stood up and fought against the system when they denied them things. And, I'm thankful for that, because the system has changed. Everything has changed. Everything has changed. The atmosphere is not the law. You can't, discriminate and stuff like that. So I'm thankful, but